Hi everybody, welcome to Tech Tuesday, where today we're going to be talking about all these guns that we carry, as well as how to select the right gun for you. When you talk about the spray guns, the most simple form of a spray gun is that it's a shutoff valve. It's a safety valve. So every pressure washing system should have one. Moving from my right to left, this is the 4,000 PSI series, moving into the 5,000 PSI series. And all these guns have different makes, purposes, and shapes. If we were to look at what we would call the most affordable gun in our offering, it would be a front entry gun. And so this gun is going to be something that you commonly see on a residential pressure washer where your hose would connect right onto this front entry portion. It's called a front entry because it's in front of the trigger. A rear entry, like most of our offering, is going to be at the back or the base of the handle. This gun, it's only 7 gallons a minute, 3,000 PSI max. It's relatively light. It's from China. It's something that's a replacement gun only. There's really not a whole lot that's special about this gun. You still have to add a lance onto it, and that's why a lot of customers end up upgrading from this model. The next step into the commercial series is going to be the M407 gun. Now these guns are the exact same gun. This has a 15-inch extension on it and would serve a similar purpose to this gun as far as the extension. The reason that a lot of companies like an extension is that it's easier to ship in a smaller box for a pressure washer. Something shipping from an OEM in a box like parcel or even on a pallet, you don't have to have a 36-inch box to put a 36-inch lance. It just requires another 18-inch extension added onto this. So this cuts down on shipping weights and DIMS. Looking at the second version of the M407 is the gun by itself. Now this model, we have a plug installed on it, and many of these models will come with various fittings, but at its core, the M407 is a 7-gallon-a-minute gun at 4,000 PSI. This gun is found across the US on different pieces of equipment for OEMs. It's a fairly affordable gun while also being for industrial use. It's not an acid gun, but it does have a little bit thicker pin. It's not an easy pull. So it takes about 7 to 8 pounds of pressure to pull and hold this gun when open. And that's where your biggest variance comes when you go from the Chinese guns into the SG and the Italian guns. Talking about the 4,000 PSI from the Italian side, you have the SG28, which is a 12-gallon-a-minute, 4,000 PSI. And you also have the SGS 28 with the exact same specs, but different form and function. So when these guns look the same, the original SG28 has a fixed brass inlet going into a plated pipe and a brass valve. It is easy pull, and they have the exact same trigger function, versus the SGS 28, which has the stainless integrated swivel and nickel-plated brass and stainless pipe. And because of the materials used, this particular model, the SGS 28, is going to outlast the SG 28. And as we move from right to left here, we're moving into the 5,000 PSI series. Now this gun is called an inline gun. Notice you've got your inlet coming in, your valve comes through the body here, and your outlet is coming out of the gun at quarter. So the inline gun allows you to clean perpendicular to the ground. So in this case, what you'd be likely doing is you'd connect your hose at the inlet, coming in from the top, and then you have a lance coming down. And this would be for potholing, sewer cleaning in some cases, anything where you've got a lance that needs to be completely perpendicular to the ground with maybe a turbo nozzle on it. And this allows you, instead of doing this, you hold it like this. One particular model that we've had for many, many years and has sold really well through decades over in Italy is actually the Astra series gun. And so this particular gun is a 5,000 PSI, 11.5 gallon a minute gun. You can see this gun doesn't have a trigger. This gun is called a flow-through. And this is something that you might see in, it's not uncommon to see it in agriculture. Certainly wash bays where you have truck after truck after truck. Because the employee is going to be washing for hours on end, there's really no need for a trigger in this case. In the original model of the Astra series, you will see a trigger. And this does have a little higher holding force, which means that it's going to take 7 to 8 pounds of pressure to hold this trigger. It's not an easy pull. But because of how this gun is constructed, this is one of the most durable guns in the market. One thing that we boast on our site, as well as through field experience, is that this is often the last gun people purchase. So while it's not an easy pull like the SG series, it certainly will last forever, and it's a great accessory to have, especially in high abuse environments. The original guns that kicked off the SG series are going to be the SG40 and the SG35. These guns have been in the market for around 15 years. And they are tried and true when it comes to durability and the fact that they are an easy pull. The easy pull feature or easy hold feature means that it does not take as much pressure to hold the trigger back. So in this case, the SG series, SG35 and 40, these take about 2 to 2.5 pounds of pressure to hold this trigger back. The trigger hold is also assisted by the amount of pressure and flow. So as you creep up to the 5,000 PSI, or in this case, the SG40 has 5,800 PSI, and higher GPMs, the amount of flow actually helps hold the ball back, which in turn makes it even easier to pull the trigger. With the SG35, this particular gun is a 5,000 PSI, 12 gallon a minute, and it's a workhorse across most industrial environments. It can go certainly below 5,000 PSI. Many people who have 2,500 PSI machines will end up working with this, but that's what the spec ratings are for. The machine may be 2,500, but you've got 10 gallons a minute. And in that case, this would be your gun. And finally, we have the best in our offering, which is the Aqualine series offered in Veloci Blue. And here we have the SGS 35. And this gun is a 5,000 PSI, 12 gallon a minute, with stainless integrated swivel, nickel-plated brass body, stainless inlet pipe, and acid ball, which means it's a ceramic ball. So this gun is acid capable. This gun is also an easy pull feature, obviously, since it's in the SG series. And it is among the best in its class with regards to overall performance, with regards to specs and ease of use. So finally, the question, which spray gun should you buy, entirely depends on 3 areas. 1 is the specs required. 2, the application or the use of the gun. And 3, your budget.